What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new edition of Holding Court here on the First Day Hoops Report YouTube channel. I am, of course, Holding Court host and founding editor of First Day Hoops Report, Chris Stevens. Hopefully, you all are doing well out there. We've had our first 4 days, of basketball action. It's been pretty interesting. We made it to 2 games this week. Didn't have a chance to get out Saturday because, well, I was tired and just didn't feel like leaving the house after going to the gym on Saturday morning. But there will be times when, yes, I will make appearances on the weekend. So don't worry. But yes, we went to 2 boys' games. We've been keeping track of girls' games and other games around the state. And we're going to talk about these games. But before we get started, I want you guys to help me get my numbers up for my other stuff that I'm working on. So I have this amazing music podcast. It's called On the Groove Line. I talk about old school R&B, hip hop, jazz, you name it. We discuss it, and you guys can feel free to. I was trying to drop the link here, but apparently I cannot drop the link because, well, we're not live. So I apologize. But yes, this is the logo for my music podcast On the Groove Line. I will put a link to that in the description. And like I said, I talk old school hip hop, R&B, funk, disco, jazz, you name it. I even have guests on my show. I've talked to the lead guitarist from Confunction. Uh, I've talked to Keith Kilgore of the Blackbirds. I've been busy on my music podcast. So you guys will give me a sub over there on my YouTube channel. We'll greatly appreciate it. Also, if you want to help me, make some money off my writing, I have a Patreon. And it's called Chris Stevens Writes and Other Things. And this is a place where I talk about stuff that has nothing to do with sports, where I share my creative writing because I write novels, I write poetry, I have an after hours podcast. Oh, by the way, let me just make this clear. The after hours podcast, that's for the adults. So just let me make that clear. But yeah, I have a Patreon, and I will put a link to the description. That in the description. It's $1 a month to sign up. So if you guys want to sign up and check out my writing and hear my thoughts about dating and romance and other shenanigans, you can do that. Okay, so now that we've gotten the advertising out of the way, let's talk about the first game of the week we went to, and that, of course, was Tatnall at Sal's. Now, mind you, I was one of the people who had to see Mason Collins to believe it. And now I'm a believer. Yes, that young man can hoop. Like, everything about the way he just carries himself and his game just yells Division I basketball player. For crying out loud, his father played at Temple, played in the NBA. So, it's in the bloodline. But yeah, Mason Collins really impressed me Thursday night. And he's got to be, if not number 1A for the Delaware Player of the Year award at this moment. It's 1 game in, 2 games in, because Tatnall defeated MOT Charter in her home opener on Friday. So, yes, 2 games into the season. But Mason Collins looks like the real deal. He's every bit of 6'5", 6'6". He can handle the ball. He can shoot it. And as we saw with the dunks on Thursday night, I am so mad at myself that I missed the second dunk. I got the first dunk on video, but I was trying to save my Sony battery because the battery to my camera tends to flash out on me at the worst possible times. So I was cutting the camera off to, keep preserving battery life. And sure enough, he comes up with the steal. He goes in from the left side and drops one on Mark Brown's head. And I'm like, dang, why didn't I get that? And that was a dunk that took the roof off of the gym. And Sal's always has a great environment anyway. Like, you can't go wrong, at a Sal's basketball game if you're looking for atmosphere. It's not like Mr. Krabs said, people don't go to the restaurant for atmosphere, boy, they go for food. No, you go to a basketball game for atmosphere too. And Sal's has a great atmosphere. So, that game was just fun from start to finish. We learned a lot about those other Tatnall kids as well. Allende McClendon, Justin Wright, Jalen Littlejohn. That is a pretty good, top 4 that can give teams fits. And I'm sure, Nolan Parsons is going to get his chances, as the season progresses. So, and Ellis Jarrett, he's another guy. He's another kid that can give them, good minutes and production when needed. So this Tatnall team is definitely going to be in the chase for the state championship this year. I know people probably thought they might be a year away, but now I think they'll be in the race this year. Absolutely. As far as Sal's goes, Hmm, hmm. I know what their problem is. They need a number one. They need somebody to step up and say, I'm the captain. Look at me. I'm the captain now. That's what Sal's needs. I don't know if it's going to be Latrell Wright. I don't know if it's going to be Kevin Coleman. I don't know if it's going to be Mark Brown. But I don't know. It's got to be somebody. Dominic Downs, it's got to be somebody that's going to sit there and say, hey, look, y'all climb on my back. I'm gonna pull us through. And if you pull your weight, we're gonna be fine. And I still think Sal's will be fine. I mean, let's not be, let's not panic here. They're still a very good basketball team with a really good coaching staff. Taylor Trevisan played 8 kids in the first quarter, so it's clear that the Sal's have a lot of depth, to just keep throwing at teams, and that's going to help them down the stretch when your main guys are well rested. So I think Sal still can make some noise in this thing, but they really have to figure out who is going to be their number one. I mean, yeah, you need 12 good kids, but you still have to have a one. You still have to have a one. And that's something I think Sal's is probably going to have to really, really think about as the season progresses. Then we went to go see Dover play William Penn. And I've got to tell you, I picked Dover to win the whole thing. As a Howard guy who was, I mean, I can't be biased here. I mean, I cover every team in the state fairly. I mean, as a Howard Wildcat, I would, I'm hoping those guys win it. But I'm gonna tell you, man, Dover did not come to play Thursday night. They came to play, but they didn't come to play around. Like they have the size, they have the depth, they have the skill. Like it's just amazing. You think about this. Every starter for Dover scored in like the first 4 minutes of the first quarter. And none of those guys were the team's leading scorer on the night. Chase Little was the sixth man off the bench and scored 17 points. Terrence Williams had 15. Kareem King had 14. Javion Dennis had 12. It was just like, where does it stop? How do you stop these guys? And it's clear that Coach Wilson really has a well thought out game plan with these guys. Like, we are going to defend you. We're going to D you up because Penn had problems with that full court press. And that's something that I think, just is a youth thing. I mean, those kids are young. I mean, Kendall Riley Garlic Birdie, he's only in 10th grade. Aaron Whitaker's only in 10th grade. So, I mean, these are young point guards. They'll get the experience to handle the press better. But Dover had those kids in irons for the most part on Thursday night. And just the overall depth level of that team, it's just going to be hard to knock them out because they just keep throwing guys out there that can, they're interchangeable. They're kind of like when the Golden State Warriors had a death lineup. You guys might remember the death lineup of Iguodala. And I hate Andre Iguodala, by the way, as a Sixers fan. I hate Andre Iguodala. I'll tell you about that in another episode. When they had Iguodala, when they had Steph, Clay, Draymond, Sean Livingston, that death lineup that finished out the fourth quarters, Dover has a couple of those. When you have two death lineups, what can you do? What can you do? So, I mean, shout out to my guy G. He said his only concern is that Dover doesn't have a point guard. I don't know. Cam Jackson-Dixon is good enough. He is. I think Cam doesn't look to shoot because he's got guys on the team that shoot. I mean, Terrence Williams, he can go inside, outside. Javion Dennis is their marksman. Kareem King had some real nice drives to the bucket. So, I mean, it's not like Cam has to do anything other than get these guys the ball, but he plays great defense as well. So, I think they've got a point guard. It's just not in the traditional sense of what people want a point guard to be. But I think Cam Jackson-Dixon is good enough at point for Dover to where he does his job and gets those guys the ball in positions where they can score. Did a lot of that on Thursday. So, yeah, as far as Penn goes, again, they are young. They are young. I think they have one senior. Mwad Johnson might be their only senior. That's it. That's the list. So, I don't know. I don't know what else you can expect from this team. I mean, everybody will see that they lost to Dover on Thursday, they lost to Cape on Saturday. Everybody's like, oh, wow, what's wrong with William Penn? They're young. They're young. They were young last year. I mean, they were lucky that they had Andy Webb and Zaire Gibson, who were, senior leaders and guys who could, do things. But this is kind of like, I don't want to say a step back, but this team just got progressively younger as the 2025-2026 season begins. So I think once they get the experience, once they get a couple W's under their belt, because those W's are coming, they're going to be a dangerous out in the state tournament. I mean, look at who's on the coaching staff: Gary Lumpkin, Tail Davis. I mean, two William Penn legends who know their way around the basketball court. So I'm not at all concerned about William Penn at this point in the season. It's too early to start, pressing the panic button about William Penn by any measure. So as far as I think everybody else has just been, in tournament mode. I mean, most of our top 10 has not played yet. I mean, still waiting to see Smyrna, still waiting to see Howard, still waiting to see St. George's. Who else? Sanford won, the defending state champs. They had a pretty easy time at Mount Pleasant. The only thing I noticed about watching that Sanford video is that they don't have a lot of size. Because I guess DJ Jones left. So I don't know where the size is going to come from when you run up against Dover, who has 3 kids that are 6'5", when you play Joshua Obiora in St. George's, and he's like 6'7", and Mason Collins is 6'6". So I think Sanford might have some problems with bigger teams, but their guards, Azir Elgood is still very, very good. Probably, if he's not the top point guard in the state, he's definitely top 2 or 3. So Sanford, you still got to watch out for them. So the boys' side of things is, again, we only have 4 days of basketball, and not everybody has played yet. So there's still a lot of basketball to be played and a lot of basketball to be discussed. Now for the girls' side, we've only been able to observe from afar on the girls' side, but through the wonder of streaming, I got back from Dover, Penn just in time to catch the final quarter of Padua versus Ursuline on Ursuline's Huddle Network. And one thing I've noticed, we talk about players who, live up to the expectations. We talked about it with Mason Collins. Amory Anderson is the goods as well. Absolutely. 32 points in her first varsity game against a team that was in the Elite Eight last year. Hello. It's only going to get better for her. It's only going to get better for that team. I think probably this is where, and honestly, these are the types of coaching situations where John Noonan thrives in, because he's always been a great developmental coach, but he's an X's and O's guy as well. You have some guys who are X's and O's guys who can, put players in position to, make the best plays. And then you have some guys who are developmental who can build players up as far as skill goes. John Noonan can do both. So I think at some point in the season, you can't count out this Ursuline team yet. I still think, like I was talking with Chad Graham last week, I felt like Nia Murphy was the most interesting transfer to come into Delaware last year. And I think she kind of, deferred a lot because, Gigi was Gigi last year. And Gigi got that team to the Final Four. So the more Nia gets comfortable and the more her and Emory work together, they're going to be a tough duo. They just need some help. And I think that's where Coach Noonan is going to come in and, really help develop, another 2 or 3 girls that can get them in the championship chase this year. So, you can't take anything away from Ursuline yet. As far as Padua goes, they had an interesting week. They beat Ursuline at Ursuline for the first time since God knows when. But then they went down to Smyrna on Saturday and found out there's another young team that can give you fits. Gabby Royal, the sophomore, she played as an 8th grader at Sanford, transferred to Smyrna. She scored 25 points, hit 6 3-pointers, and Smyrna has one senior, Amaya Ellerby. She scored 23, and Smyrna won that game 61-53. Don't discount Smyrna as a Final Four team. I'm telling you, that's a team that can give everybody fits. They are super young, but of course, with Coach Eric Gums and Coach Danielle Parker Gums, imagine being a boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife duo showing up for a 2-on-2 tournament and 2 Division I players show up. Good luck with that. Yeah, but they coach. They coach these kids up. The talent is there. The crazy thing about Saturday is that Divya Savage didn't have a particularly great game. So imagine when you get Divya, Gabby, and Amaya all on the same page, averaging like 15 points a game. Gonna be trouble in River City, boy. Let me tell you, that Smyrna team is dangerous. That Smyrna team is absolutely dangerous. So there's a lot to like about the girls' side of things this year. Again, we haven't seen Sanford yet. We haven't seen Howard yet. We might have to add St. Mark's to the till because they dominated the AI tournament this weekend. They had two girls with double doubles. Natalie Van Zura, I'm sorry if I'm saying her last name wrong. She scored 27 in the opener. And this was a team that struggled last year. St. Mark's had a couple of players leave. Sophia Buffon left for Padua. And of course, this past year, Coach Val Carter's daughter, Sophia, graduated. So that was another player they couldn't afford to lose, but somehow they have come out smoking these first two games. So this is a team, this St. Mark's team looks like a team that can give some teams fits this year. So the girls' side of things is going to be very, very interesting. I'm very looking forward to seeing Howard play this week. I'm going to go see Howard play Del Castle. There are three girls games that you should absolutely keep your eye on. Speaking of eye, my eye irritating me. Sorry. There are three girls games that you should keep your eye on next week. There's going to be St. E at Padua. We'll be at that one on Tuesday. Not Del Castle versus Howard. That still might be a good game, but unfortunately, Cape and Smyrna is that same night, that same Tuesday night. And of course, Cape has Amalia Fruchtman, who is probably one of the leading candidates for Girls Player of the Year. So I'm interested to see how Smyrna handles her and the new roster around Amalia. And then, of course, Friday, Archmere, who is 2-0, they go to Caravel on Friday afternoon. Now, I'm going to be at that game. I'm going to try to be at that game because usually for my day job, HBCU Sports, we have a Friday show. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive to Caravel early and do the show on my phone. If Ken Rashad will let me, I think Ken will let me. That's my boss. And so if you see me at Caravel on Friday and you see me talking to my phone, don't worry about it. I'm just taking care of some loose ends in my day job before I work on my night job because First Day Hoops Report is my second job, pretty much. So, but yeah, I think that Archmere team might be able to give Caravel some fits because Archmere has a player of the year candidate of their own in Bridget Malloy. And Bridget Malloy showed up and showed out against Ville Maria this past Saturday. 27 points, 13 rebounds, 6 blocks, 5 steals. And they won the game. Watching Bridget's ascension as a basketball player has been very, very fun to watch. Like every year, she just gets better and better and better. She's already committed to Scranton, but I'm not, casting any aspersions. I don't have any inside information. I'm just saying that I don't think she will be a Division III player for long. I don't. I think she's going to move up at least one level. I can't say that now, but her talent is remarkable. And Dan Pisani, he's a great coach anyway. He gets the most out of, the girls that he does have because me and Coach Pisani go back to when he was coaching at Apple, him and Sherelle Dennis, when they had Amani Clark and Ashley Smith as the point guard, as the backcourt, and they made it to the Final Four in 2012. And it was crazy to think that, Pisani was like this young guy, he was always a great coach, but now that he's gotten the seasoning, it's almost like his coaching has gotten even better. And being at Archmere, you're not going to get the kids that you get at a Sanford or an Ursuline or a St. Elizabeth or a Caravel. But somehow, every year, he has that Archmere team in the second round of the state tournament, at least. Imagine if coaches like Dan Pisani, Eric Gums, Lucky Price, they had the same resources that Marcus Thompson, John Noonan, Larry Banks, and Ty Taylor had. Imagine if those resources were all being fair and equal. Like this state would be so much better off if, everybody had a fair chance. But the coaches that don't even have a fair chance, they still do a dynamic job. It is what it is. But that's Delaware in a nutshell. I've complained about this state enough. Y'all already know my stance on just how ridiculously run this entire state is. As far as basketball goes. Because we're still up in arms, I am anyway, about the possibility of this state tournament being split. By the way, I'll be dropping a video on Wednesday. If I didn't thank Brad Myers publicly before, let me do it now because he said, "Hey Chris, we're having our Delaware Online Basketball Media Day at the Chase Fieldhouse. Want to come?" Yes, yes, I do. You might see. You guys might go back to earlier in November. There's this video where I asked the kids what their basketball ick was. That was from that day, and I also asked, I think about 20 coaches, what do you think about splitting up the state tournament? We got a lot of interesting answers. So on Wednesday, I'm going to drop that video. You're going to be hearing from boys coaches, girls coaches, public school coaches, private school coaches, VOTEC coaches. I got them all. So you'll hear their answers on Wednesday. So be sure to subscribe to this channel. Why do I keep saying Thursday? I don't know. Maybe Thursday just on the brain. I don't know. But yes, I will be sharing that video on Wednesday. So be sure to watch out for that. So I think that pretty much covers everything what I wanted to talk about today because, we're still very early in the season. Not everybody's played it. This isn't even the first full week, but at least the season is underway. So we're going to have a lot to discuss. We still have 3 months of basketball ahead of us. Let's have some fun with it. And that's going to do it for this edition of Home Court. Really appreciate y'all as always. Contact information will be in the description below. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can see the highlights that I post, the interviews that I post, this show. The more subscribers we get, the more this thing grows. And if you got a comment, be sure to share a comment in the comments below. We'd love to know what you guys think. And once again, let me run these back because I'm big on advertising. So On the Groove Line, that's my music podcast. I will have a link to that in the description below. My Patreon, Chris Stevens Writes and Other Things. I will post a link to that. Again, that is a $1 a month subscription. If you got an extra dollar, if you don't need to hit the tolls, if you save money on buying groceries, who's saving money on buying groceries these days? Everything is through the roof. But if you have an extra dollar to spare and you want to help your boy out, this is how you do it. I will drop a link to my Patreon in the description below as well. So thank you guys for rocking with me on this edition of Home Court. And let's have some fun this week with the basketball. So until next time we talk, which will be next Sunday, y'all take care of yourselves and each other.